losing power.
Alright, what is going on, guys? My name is Alex Whittick and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Now today I've got a lot of fun stuff planned, so let's get to it. And the first thing we gotta do is we gotta get coffee. I would go to Starbucks, but I've been drinking a lot of black coffee lately, so let's go ahead. Let's go make some black coffee and let's get to it. Oof, now that the coffee's done and my drink is done, my drink is made up of strawberries, blueberries, steel cut oats, chia seeds, and almond milk, and peanut butter. It doesn't get any better than that. So now that we got a healthy breakfast and some coffee, I'm gonna go upstairs, watch YouTube. I usually watch about an hour of YouTube before I get my day started. I've already watched a little bit, so I'm gonna watch a little YouTube, and then we're gonna go for a drive. All right, so I'm in the garage. I got two options. I could either take the purple Mark V, we can go for a fun drive, do our thing, or we can go ahead and take the Mark VI. I mean, I'm thinking it's sunny outside. Obviously, we're gonna take the Mark V. The Mark VI, it could sit home. She's for the long drives, she's for the daily. And yeah, we're gonna go have fun and drive. We're gonna meet up with some friends today, so I'm excited about that. So it's a little noisy in here. I hate starting my car in the garage, but this thing just coats everything with soot, which stinks. But all right, so once these fill up, we're gonna head outside, and my brother's BMW has a leaky tire, so I'm gonna fill that up for him. Rule number one, always help a man out. We've obviously got this valve that just comes right here. This tire has been going low pretty quick on him. Not super quick, but the car's been sitting for a day or two, so I'm gonna help him fill this up and we'll get him right. All right, so we got the Mark V idling. She's warm. Engine temps are about 140 degrees. 190 is where you want it. So we gotta get it up to that. It's 37 degrees outside, it's super windy, so I have no engine cowl and stuff like that, so it's much harder for this car to warm up. So I'm gonna check out the bag pressures, everything looks good, and let's set off, and let's see where the day leads us. Car feels good today. All right, so everything is looking good. Traffic's not too high today. I live right next to the highway, so sometimes when you want to go places, you hop on to the highway and it's just nothing but traffic. So that's clear. Gonna head on over to ShopRite. So a few of my subscribers hit me up on Instagram. They wanted me to tell more stories, and I think a fitting story for today would be how I got into stance. It'd be nice to talk about tiers and levels of what got me into it, and you know, all different types of stories. I have so many stance stories. There's so many like situations I've been in. But as far as getting into cars, that's a real fun story that I would like to tell. It starts out super simple. Like I was one of those kids, you know, grew up watching Fast and the Furious. Not a crazy fan. It's a cool movie and stuff like that. I just wasn't too big on it, but I definitely like Paul Walker's orange Mark IV Supra, and that definitely inspired me a little bit. But I live in the woods, so there's not that many people that have stance cars, but like I've pointed out in previous videos, there are people who have stance cars, just not like show cars. So my first glimpse at an actual show car was a kid named Brian Hopper, and he had a bagged Mark IV GLI with a built motor, big turbo, a whole bunch of crazy stuff. But he did body work, so he did his own paint, shaved his own bay, a whole bunch of, you know, self-done work, but done by a professional. And he lived like 45 minutes away, but I was into snowboarding at the time. I was his younger kid, and he would drive that thing around, and like I'm pretty sure he dailied it. I don't remember seeing it directly in eye contact, but I've had Instagram since 2012, so I always followed him because I knew him from snowboarding and stuff. So I always seen like his posts, which were sick. And I remember he had like a brown engine bay, I believe, then he had a blue engine bay, and it was a black Mark IV GLI, but it just like had like Works wheels on it, I believe, and just a big turbo, and it was just a sick setup. And like I like met him and stuff like that. It wasn't like, oh my god, you're this car guy. It was just kind of, so I was like this like 14-year-old kid who was like, oh, cars are cool, like that's sick. Yeah, it was like super cool seeing someone modify a car, so that definitely got me into it. And then my buddy Brandon Schmidt had a silver R32, and that thing was sick. He's friends with Brian. Brandon now rides for Nitro Circus. He's part of all that Nitro Circus and Travis Pastrana type stuff. He just did a quad backflip on a BMX bike. He's friends with Ryan Williams, so real cool kid. into Volkswagens. His dad's into Volkswagens. His dad has a Fahrenheit Mark V GTI, which is sick. And so that got me into stance. But like, as far as like why I got this car, my cousin actually has still to this day, I believe, the same colored Mark V TDI. And I was like, okay, like I wasn't even buying the car to get into stance. I was literally just buying this car because my cousin goes, oh yeah, I get 42 miles to the gallon. You should look into maybe getting a diesel. He didn't say anything specific, but I really wanted the Mark IV Golf TDI, and you could pick them up for like $2,000 at the time, back in like 2014. And I'm like, yeah, that's a no-brainer to pick one of those up. So I like started on this search on Craigslist, Facebook Marketplace, all these places, and I realized these cars they go forever in my head. So I'm like, oh, let me go ahead and buy a Golf TDI from 2001 that has 400,000 miles on it. And my mom's like, not happening. But she's not like not happening. She's just like, you're dumb. Like, if you want to buy that, go for it. But you can buy a nicer car for a little bit more, has way less miles, and you'll get more life out of it. So I thanked my mom for that one. And I was like, okay, I'll get a Mark V Golf TDI. They're like $4 or $5,000. That's like a high mileage one at the time. Back in 2014 when I bought this car for $4,800. The listing was like $5,200. So, you know, that was a long time ago. But so yeah, my mom actually, I went on Facebook Marketplace for the TDIs. Actually, I went on the TDI Facebook pages, and there was a guy who was selling a light blue, kind of silverish looking Mark V TDI. Had 180,000 miles on it, so it obviously needed a cam to be done. Didn't put that in the listing, and you know, just was overall just not a good car. So my mom's like, okay, like there might be a better option. I'm like, no, I want this car. Like, this is the car I've been looking at. Yada yada yada, complaining. But it's all my money at the same time, so it's not like she really cares all that much. But so I'm like, okay, like what are the options? So the day I'm going to pick up the car that I want, my mom goes on Auto Trader and she finds a Mark V TDI, this car, and it was about $300 listed, less price, had 176,000 miles on it, so basically a little bit lower than the other car, and everything seemed to be good. It was owned by the one owner, owned by an older gentleman, nothing too outstandish, and yeah, it just seemed like a better fit. So I'm like, okay, we'll go check that car out first because it's closer to us, which is still an hour and a half, than the other car that was about a 2.5-hour drive. So we go ahead, we look at it, instantly buy it because I really wanted it. I wasn't gonna, you know, turn around. Car had lower miles, it was the same car, why not? I'm not gonna complain that much. And it's a cooler color. So I go ahead and we buy it. My dad was holding the money, and you know, we came with like $5,200, which was the asking price. And my dad, like, he literally has the whole stack in his hand, and he's like, "Oh, will you take less?" And the guy's like, "No." And my dad's like, "Okay, here's 48." And the guy's like, "No, like, I see you have more money in your hand, and it's not that much more. Like, just give me like $5,000." My dad's like, "No, not happening." So the guy's like, "Okay, have a good day." So I'm like instantly like so upset, so butthurt. And then I'm like, "Yo, screw this guy." So we turn around, we start walking away, and the guy's like, "I'll take $4,800 for it." So we're like, sick. So I basically bought this car for $4,800. My mom knows how to drive stick. My mom's first car was a 1974 yellow or red, I can't really recall, but Volkswagen Beetle, 5-speed or 4-speed, whatever the transmission was in that. My mom's skilled with driving stick. So we of course went ahead and we bought this car. She drove it home, no issues. In traffic, no issues. My mom actually doesn't drive stick because she has a torn meniscus, and it's just more of a burden for her because she and she works in a city type area, so she needs to take the highway to get to work. So we drive the car home, all is well. So I'm like 15 at the time, not even 16, not even old enough to have my permit. So I'm like, before I even bought it, I was like, Mom, you have this nice leased BMW. I think she had a leased Audi or something at the time. I don't really recall. I was like, why don't you take the lease off, start driving this, so you can save yourself a little money and you can keep the car moving, keep the brake rotors all cleaned off, you know, all that stuff, no rust. She's like, okay. So before she like went ahead and got rid of the lease, she's like, let me just drive this thing, see if I like it, and see if that's a good idea for me. She drives it 2 weeks to work. She's like, oh, it's pretty decent, but it's losing power. So I'm thinking, oh my God, my car's blowing up something. I don't know anything about cars at the time. I couldn't even tell you what a diesel injector looks like. I couldn't tell you what a fuel filter looks like, nothing. I literally knew nothing about cars. I was a kid who was modifying mopeds and racing dirt bikes. So I understood how to work on cars, I just didn't understand how to work on TDIs. So the car loses power one day on her way to work, and she absolutely has zero power. Car won't move, it's chugging smoke, all this stuff. I'm like, it's blown up. Instantly go on Facebook Marketplace that same day, post pictures of it, post it for the same price I got it for. I'm like, guys, I've got a clean New Jersey title, one owner. I drove it like 500 miles, if that, and the car's clean, good clutch, all this stuff. I get a bunch of bites on it, but a family friend of mine was like, oh, I know a diesel mechanic. So basically, his diesel mechanic was a normal mechanic. It turns into about 10 different people that are touching my car. I wouldn't call it molesting my car, but nobody knows what they're doing. I'm getting my car back from different places with the injectors out, injectors in. I swear to God, this thing made it to about 6 to 7 different shops that none of them are diesel shops. I think it made it to one shop that like worked on school buses. That's what happens when your family knows people who work on cars. You know, it's basically just a bunch of family friends saying, oh, I know this guy, I know this guy. No one worked out. I'm thankful for everyone's help, but that didn't work out for me. So, moving on with our story, I finally just give up on this car and I park it at a storage garage that a family friend owns. He says, hey, listen, you can put this here, no issue. Also, he was like my employer at the time. So I'm driving my moped, whatever. I still don't have my license. It's no big deal if this car doesn't run. I finally get the courage, and I wouldn't say the courage, but the steam to look out, reach out to some people on Facebook that are going to be able to work on my car in my area for cheaper and also know what they're doing. I don't care if you're a legit mechanic, work on my diesel car. If that's what you do, if that's what you know how to do, please help me out. So I find somebody, I pay them, I get this cam changed out, but it was like a legit shop actually. It was like a shed, but it was a Volkswagen shop. Now they just sell cars and stuff like that, but at the time, they were a Volkswagen Audi specific shop in my area, right in the same town as Brandon, who I mentioned earlier in the story. Lives in the same town. It's very local to me, so I was like, perfect. They fixed my car. I paid a shop $1,400 to change my cam, and that was it. They took the timing belt off. They said, hey, listen, your timing belt doesn't have to be done for 15,000 miles. That's soon, but you could probably change it yourself, and it's going to cost you, you know, us $1,400, an additional $1,400 to change this for you. Now, to some people that might sound good, but I know people now who will change my timing belt for $500. Now, is that something I'm capable of doing? 1,000%. Is that something I want to do? Not at all. Because if I'm able to pay somebody, if you're able to pay a painter $500 to paint your car with a 3-stage paint, you're going to do that instead of painting yourself with a 3-stage paint. Because someone that knows what they're doing is, you know, going to get it back to you quicker. So the turnaround time is quicker. Now, if this isn't my daily, I would change the cam myself 100%, no questions asked. But at the time, $500, perfect. Paid a guy off Facebook, did my cam, or I paid a guy to do my timing belt later on in his life. That's a different story. But now that I'm driving this car, it's all fixed. Well, now that the car's fixed, I get to be able to take my driver's test in it. You know, all these cool things that, you know, every kid wishes to do. You know, buy a car before they get their license. learn how to drive stick before they even learn how to drive a car. Take your driver's test in the car that's stick. You know, all these factors that play into it I've done in this car. So I've got an emotional connection to this thing. You know, first car I ever learned how to spin, like turn a wrench on. There's just so many factors that play into this. So, you know, that's really cool. But, you know, moving on to other mods and stuff like that, you know, obviously I've spoken on in my my first video ever, some of the basic things that I did with my car. Best video that I've posted yet, like most well performing. That video has, you know, I think it's like 5,400 views on it, which it's crazy because in the YouTube world, to me, 500 views is the world, where on TikTok, you know, sub 300,000 is like, oh, just another day. You know, so all these different video platforms and growth platforms all work in different ways, and I appreciate every single view and every single person that reaches out to me and says they, you know, they enjoy the videos essentially. So it's super cool to me. Moving on in my story, you know, I go ahead and I do all those modifications to the car, like just to get it up and running. Not even modifications, just improvements. You know, and man, if you want to build a car, there's nothing better than going on Facebook Marketplace, because when I started building this car, you know, going from being a daily to being a stance car, I think the best option for somebody, because, I mean, it's just smarter, you know, if you get a pair of wheels and stuff, but basically, in my opinion, there's nothing better than getting a set of bags or a set of coilovers for your car and lowering it before you do anything, because a stock set of wheels on a lowered car looks alright. It looks pretty good. You could rock that for a long time. People are going to be like, oh, your car is pretty cool, it's unique. But if you get, I mean, this is all preference. If you get a car, but if you get a car, and you put a set of wheels on it that don't fit, they bulk out a little bit, all that stuff, you know, it's just, you don't want to be driving around that long. You might rub, you know, there's just a whole bunch of stuff. Not that you might rub, but, you know, your car's going to look like a monster truck, and I don't know how you feel about that. If you don't care what other people think about you like me, go for it, send it, but I'm just giving you my best preference. So, my first thing I did was I got a set of bags off Facebook Marketplace. Now, when I tell you I got the deal of a lifetime, I got the deal of a lifetime. You know, I'm making $15 an hour in high school. Nothing gets better than that. I mean, being a millionaire, maybe. But doing the job that I was doing, I was making good money at the time. I was like, oh, I'll just buy a new bag setup. But I went on Facebook Marketplace. Every time I say that, I really mean the Mark V pages. And some guy was having a kid, and he had just bought a set of bags off of somebody on Facebook, and he wanted to resell them. So I bought basically a brand new set of Airlift Slam Series bags, V2 management. Oh no, minus V2 management. It's the only thing I was mixing from this whole story. I bought a pair of Slam Series bags from Airlift, a tank, a 5-gallon tank, which you see mounted in the back maybe in this clip. I can't really see what you can see. And then I also got the compressor. I got all that for $460. I kid you not, I got bags, a compressor, and a tank for $460. There's definitely been a better deal out there, but I haven't heard one like that. Every single time I tell someone, they get mad. They're like, oh, what the heck, how'd you get a deal like that? So, I got a deal like that. Then moving on forward, I got a V2 management from MP Build, which builds a lot of GTRs, Evos, and stuff like that. He sold me a V2, well, his customer sold me because he was getting a 3P. He sold me out of his car V2 management. Now, I bought that V2 management for $360, which to me is very good, because at the time, a setup like that cost $1,200 used. Now you have 3P setups for $800 and stuff, but at the time, $600 whatever dollars, I think it was like $630. You can't beat it. Maybe it was even $675. I don't know. I can't give you like every detail off the top of my mind, but I got the deal of a lifetime on that. So pair those two together, $460 plus, let's call it $660. You know, $1,100. I bagged the car. Amazing. Brought that to Rob's shop. Talked about him 2 stories ago. Rob, one of my best friends, family-owned shop. when they're closed for the day, it's free range. Alex, do what you want. Amazing. Great family, great friend. Doesn't get any better than that. So, leading on from that end of the story, I got my first set of wheels. I drove this car. I met one of my Instagram followers, or I met it on Facebook, but we're friends on Instagram. I can't remember the name. But this girl, Alexa, I think at the time it was like A3 Alexa or something like that, or Lex, I don't really recall. But she had a pair of Avant-Garde wheels, my orange wheels that I had prior to, which people may not remember because I wasn't really that like known or notable on Instagram at the time. I had like maybe like 1,100 followers, but had those wheels on there. But I went all the way up to Connecticut. I drove about 3 hours, picked them up. Her friend had actually brought them to me. They live in New Hampshire, I believe, so it was pretty far. Ryan, thanks for dropping those off. I don't remember Ryan's Instagram, but Ryan and I talk once in a while. We're friends on Snapchat now. But I bought a pair of wheels from them. I believe I paid $1,800 for those Avant-Gardes, or maybe it was like $2,300 or something like that. It was a good amount. I can't really remember. I buy so many car parts and sell so many car parts, dirt bikes and all that stuff. But so I got an awesome set of wheels, awesome set of bags, drove back, set them on my car. You know, that's like the dream build. You know, you're in high school, you got bags, you got wheels, build's done. Basically just left the car like that for a while. And yeah, I mean, that's like a fun story to tell because, you know, you got the progression of, you know, build, take apart, and the one thing I left out from that story was I bought a set of like, I can't remember the wheels, but like let's call them eBay wheels. You know, I bought a set of wheels for $180 from New Hampshire. My cousin lives in Maine, was coming to visit, picked the wheels up in New Hampshire for me, dropped them off, and yeah, I mean, I bought those wheels off Facebook also, so buy all your parts off Facebook if you're starting out, and if you're in the show cars, you can still buy your stuff off Facebook. I bought these RS wheels off Facebook, you know, so there's so many things you can do. That was a fun pull, no clutch slip. I love this car so much. So guys, I'm pulling up to my house. We're gonna continue this vlog. This is a vlog. I'm gonna start doing these more often where I bring you into my daily life, not just driving and talking and telling stories. We're gonna be meeting up with Joey and Nick. We're gonna go out to eat and stuff like that. So if you guys wanna see the rest of this video, definitely stay tuned. I like bringing you guys with me everywhere. I just gotta get used to this whole vlog style of YouTube, you know? Because I've done so many videos where I just drive my car, I'm fixing a part, and I realized that I want to share myself with you guys, so, and that you guys are interested in what I do, and I'm interested in sharing it with you. So, yeah, stay for the rest of the video. Let's have fun. Let's meet up with some friends, and maybe let's drive the car again and see if some friends want to come in the car. So, pulling up, and I'll see you in the next clip. Alrighty, guys, I'm super hyped because someone super special is here right now, about to go for a drive with me. The man, the myth, the legend, Joey. Joey D is in the house, guys. Look at this.
Quick check sub. Look, bro, quick check wraps.
Ooh, quick check wraps for the fam, and he's got the fire fit. So Joey's about to hop in the whip with me, and let's see how this goes. So guys, Joey told me that he brought like these wraps. I had no clue what he meant by brought wraps. Brought one for me as well, you know. I wasn't sure if he was just buying them for himself, you know, because that's something that I would probably do. Is
the only problem is they're $5.19 each.
That's
a rip-off.
$5.19. Yeah, I heard that he bought wraps. I was like, wow, Joey really breaking the bank.
It's funny. I say it's like a rip-off every time, but I buy them like all the time.
Joey likes to eat healthy. You know, these are real healthy. So we're about to eat these. All right, guys. Joey and I just got back from that drive that we were gonna do. We actually wound up making it into like a whole story and talking and stuff like that. So that's a real fun video. I was super happy to have Joey on the show. So guys, make sure you watch tomorrow's video. It's dropping at 12. Make sure you watch it and hit the like button and share. Joey, did you enjoy your time?
Did I enjoy my time? It was a great time. You guys want to watch the video? Learn a little bit about me, you know, see what I like to eat, see what Alex likes to eat. Enjoy yourself the beautiful video of this beautiful car. Come on now.
So check out the video, guys. All right, guys, so I'm actually going to wrap up today's video right here. Joey had to go back home, and nobody else is like going to be able to hang out tonight. So I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to edit these videos up. And guys, remember, nobody could tell you that your content is dumb. Nobody can tell you that you're ugly or whatever. Just do you. Don't let anyone's opinion matter, and just keep smiling, guys. So on that note, please like, comment, share, and subscribe. Sharing helps the video so much, guys. So if your friends might enjoy my videos, send this to them, and just have a good one. So guys, on that note, I'll talk to you later. Goodbye.